What's going on, guys? Pole Father here, and welcome and happy Saturday. In this video today, we're going to be talking about a bulk submission we're going to be making to CGC. And shout out to all the people that were affected by Hurricane Ian. I live in the state of Florida, and the hurricane was actually supposed to hit where I live direct on before it moved. Pretty devastating what happened. Very blessed and fortunate that didn't happen here in my area. But a shout out to everyone in Fort Myers, Orlando, anywhere that's had a lot of damage from the hurricane. But needless to say, in this video, I want to go over some very cool modern day cars they plan on submitting to CGC. Now, I think I have about 20 here, so I'm about 5 short before I make the submission. So I think I'm going to still put a few together on what I want to submit exactly. So again, still testing the whole theory of we did a couple of videos of vintage CGC cards, and we did see that they were grading a little bit easier. Now it's time to test the theory with modern. I have a couple of good example cards that I think they'll be great ones to send in, and of course I have some other ones that I had graded with CGC back in their old slabs, and I cracked them out, and we'll go over those two as well. So first one is I got 3 Radiant Charizards right here. Now the reason why this one is the best by far, these have a pinch off center, but the reason why my theory with submitting all 3 is because I'm trying to get them to, well, if this card is the best one, but this one's just as similar, I'm hoping to push this one for pristine 10. I'd like to get at least 110 possible for the Radiants. I love them. I think, me personally, out of all the cards that came out during the Sword and Shield era, Pokemon Go, this Radiant Charizard's my favorite by far. I know everyone's Charizard. This one's my favorite by far. I love it. I love the Radiant cards. I think they're sweet. And I guess it reminds me of the old stuff, right? It doesn't have the whole card decked out and stuff like that. So I'm going with these 3 right here. So hopefully we get 110 out of these. Now the next one we have here is I cracked quite a few bit of Pokemon Go cards, and these were by far the 3 best that I can put together for centering, surface condition, corners, and edges. I'm hoping to get 9.5s on these. I might scrape until let's get the back on here. I think this is the Numal. Yep, or another bit of this one here actually says a pinch on the corner here. It's right there on the fuzz, but pinch on the corner there. All these great centering. I think the spin arc here is just one last check. See if the camera to focus. I think there's let's see if I can get to turn here. I know the Numal is really good. It's on the case there. No, that's on this penny sleeve. I checked that. Right. This is all from the penny sleeve. No, penny sleeve. There's one mark on one of these. Is it a bit off? Nope. I want to say it's on the spin arc, right? It's so small. It's just a very small print line. Like, it doesn't even go across the whole card. It's so... I put it this way. I had the light on and I can't even find it. So I'm hoping these will get 9.5s. I actually think they have a great chance of getting them. I've had, I think, 5 or 6 each of these cards, and like I said, I've opened quite a bit of Pokemon Go. These are in great shape, so I'm hoping to get 9.5s on these. Radiant Venusaur, I really do believe I'll get a 10 on one of these here, but again, I'm submitting 2 of them to put 2 next to the grader so they can go hand in hand, saying, well, this one, it's maybe a 9.5, but I do believe that there's a theory of if you put 2 mint modern cards next to each other to the grader, and one's slightly better than the other, and they decide to give this card the 9 or the 9.5, this one should get the one above grade. It's my little theory I'm testing out. I found I've had a lot better luck submitting 2 of the same cards and pushing a 10. Now, sometimes it's harder to get, obviously, 2 of the same card and submitting it, but for these specific cards, I really want these 3 cards as a 10, the Radiant Venusaur, Radiant Charizard, and Radiant Blastoise as I wrap up my modern days. Same with the Blastoise. Centering's great, surface is great on all these. Yeah, just submitting these right here, the Radiant ones. Okay, so these, not a huge Japanese promo collector, but you know what? I picked these up from a guy here in Florida, and the centering on these are just exceptional. So They're pretty unique too. So I just figured, you know what, I'm gonna pick these up. Let's see what they grade, and let's just kind of give it a try. The Radiant Eevee promo, again, cracked open quite a few Pokemon Go. Best center, best surface ones I had, sending off for grading. Delivery Charizard. Now, a lot of people have been complaining that these aren't grading well. That's on the penny right there. So mine came in well centered. And the only thing that really is the issue with this card is you have kind of like a really small right here. Get that really close to the camera, maybe. Right here. See it? Right there? Right here by my finger. Other than that, pretty solid card. Corner right here, maybe a pinch. Hoping to get a 9.5 on this. It takes, you have to really look to see these little edges, but, CGC is still tough on modern, so we'll see. Hopefully this gets a 9.5. If it's a 9, I'll probably just honestly crack it and throw it into my 25th anniversary binder I have. Cool card. This one was mine, my code that came in, so, it makes it a little more special, so we'll see what it gets. I haven't really cracked much Lost Origin, but when the Hurricane was coming, I decided to go pick up some Lost Origin packs just to give it a swing. And the only reason why I'm submitting this card, I really didn't even want it either, but the centering's great, surface is amazing. I actually think this card has a chance at the 10. So honestly, that's really the only reason why I'm submitting this card, and not really much of a population on it, so why not? Just to kind of see where it is. Okay, so now we've gone through these cards. Now again, I'm still about 5 short. I gotta get these a count, but I believe that I'm gonna try maybe get a couple cards from Pokemon Go to grade those up. Okay, so these cards I grade with CGC in the way past. Now, here we go. Start with these. Pull these up right here. Okay, so Mega Charizard right here. Centering 8.5, surface 9, corners 10, 10, 10. This was also when CGC was grading much more difficult. I remember when I did my first mission with CGC, nobody, and I mean nobody, got a 10. And now this got a 9. I mean, I can see maybe a little centering problem here, but it's worth a try. For me to get a 9.5, I'm happy with it for a modern card, but for a 9, it's a little tough for me at least. Decided to crack this one, give it another try. Celebrations Charizard. Now, this one, go. Also graded this card when CGC was grading from very much more difficult. As you can tell, look at the subgrades: 9.5, surface is a 10, corner 9.5, edges 9.5. We're talking fractions of a difference between a 10. So there is a high population for 10 on this card, but honestly, for how close of it was it graded, and if CGC is grading a little bit easier, there's a shot at a 10 for this card, and this would make it a grand addition. 25th anniversary card. I believe this card in the future will hold great value. Right now, obviously, there's a lot. Yeah, the population's a little high on it, but again, this one, 25th anniversary, is a special one. So, my eyes, it was worth cracking. Give it another go. So, we'll see what it gets. Next, XY Evolutions Charizard. On this one, again, graded this one when CGC was grading very difficult. 9 centering, 9 surface, 9 corners, 9.5 edges. XY Evolutions grades pretty difficult. At least CGC does. And, it is notorious for having a lot of print line errors and stuff like that. And on this one, I pulled this one myself. I wanted to give it another go. But I think it actually has a shot at least at a 9.5, maybe a 10. Again, really the experiment of cracking old CGC cards that were mine and give them a go to send them in again. So, and I know XY Evolutions was printed, to the moon, but there is a little special place in my heart for this set because pre-COVID, I had bought a couple cases of XY Evolutions. I opened one for myself. I kept the rest sealed. And then when the boom happened, I made an exceptional amount on selling those cases. It just blows my mind still today how much I made. So I decided to give this one a go again. And the other ones I had also, there is a couple print lines that are notorious for these hollow cards and reverse hollow cards. So this one's pretty clean. So I'm going to give it a go. See what happens. Worst case scenario gets a 9. And no doubt in my mind I get a 9 back. Now, last but not least is this Celebrations Venusaur. Honestly, because I was short a couple cards, I decided to grade this one again. And that's because surface 10, corners 10, edges 10, centering 9. Why not? Go for it again. Might get a 10. I don't see. You know, when I did submit this card as well, I submitted three Celebration Venusaurs, and they did one. I did get a pristine 10, and the other two I got 9.5s. This one being literally 0.5 away. So why not? You know, worst case scenario gets a 9.5 again. Even if it grades a 9, I really have no problem selling this card. So more for experiment purposes of modern day cards and where they're at. So also being short some cards. This one, I pulled this card as well from Evolving Skies. And I remember I got this one early, and I want to say I was literally one of the first people to grade this card with CGC. And I remember opening it, and I was just like, wow, like, you know, 0.5 from a 10, you know, still 10s were so difficult to achieve. Now, I really think that this one can potentially get it, but I don't know. I might hold on to this one just because, you know, this may be a good card to sell just because, you know, oh, maybe you want to crack this and regrade it, or, you know, it's so close to the 10. The only modern cards I'm really, you know, have a passion for are really the original ones, at least first generation, second gen. So, you know, I really don't have too much emotional attachment to this card, so I might just keep it sealed. Probably will, but if I still need maybe short cards, maybe I'll give it a try. Not totally sure, but we'll see. So, in regards to a lot of people, you know, the argument of modern versus vintage, and people are saying, you know, modern cards are printed to the moon and they're so heavily overprinted. They are. You know, I was looking at some, you know, the population report on CGC, and you notice that from the first original series, it's 500,000, a little bit more than 500,000 cards graded. And then you look at the Sword and Shield era, and it's around 400,000. That is pretty close and significant, and shows how similar our era in the 90s as a kid was comparable to this era just happened during COVID with Sword and Shield. So, what does that mean? Yes, base set was heavily printed. So was Jungle. So was Fossil. And even today, those packs are going for a high dollar amount. Now, the argument of modern cards, those were obviously printed more than those original sets. But I do believe, yes, the print runs are higher. I do believe that in the future, the Sword and Shield era will be highly valuable, highly sought after. Now, am I encouraging you to sit on stockpiles of sealed collections? Definitely not. I think if you're sitting on high stockpiles of modern, I think you made a mistake if you didn't unload it. If you're sitting on a couple items, then I think you made the right decision. Couple things, in my opinion, that I think that'll be the most valuable ones in the future. I do think a big chase card in the future that kids will come back when they get back in the hobby will be Charizard VMAX. Yes, the population of it is through the roof, but it's the same exact argument with base set. There's so many 8s. So even on the PSA, you compare all the population reports. It's still the thrill, the rush, the chase, pulling a modern Charizard, Charizard VMAX, the one from Champions Path and Rainbow one, the Shining Shining Fates Charizard VMAX, and the other Shining Charizard V from Champions Path. We experienced that rush, but a lot of kids missed out on it, and those kids know about those cards because they watch people open it. So things they did as a kid and they felt like they missed out on, it's the same exact repetition. People were selling 9s at a high price during this era. Back then, 9s weren't really selling for a high dollar amount. So, yes, those Charizards, especially Darkness Ablaze, all the Charizards, there's so many of them that are graded. The value of them had dropped tremendously. I remember I sold my Rainbow Charizard for over $2,000 when it first came out. I opened it, it was like my third pack, and I went nuts. And I saw what they were going for. I sold it. At the time I was saying to myself, I'll never have this card again in my hands. Sure enough, I got one and I picked it up for like 300 bucks. So, yes, cards are heavily printed. Yes, Pokemon prints to the moon. But there's still the same rush feeling that when the kids during the Sword and Shield era grow up, now they have their own money to spend and they run into money and they start getting back into the hobby, as a lot of people did, there will still be value and chase to having those sets, to having those sealed sets. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot more fun to pull your Charizard than it is to buy one. So, what am I trying to tell you is if you're in this for the hobby and you love the not, your cards, great. But for the ones thinking that 9.5 or that 9 modern day Charizard is going to go for big bucks one day in the future, no, I don't see it happening. Do I think it goes for what it goes for today? Absolutely. Do I see it crashing down a little bit more? Maybe like a little bit more, but not too much more. But at the end of the day, I really think those Charizards in the future, kids are going to want to relive their past experience, crack open those modern day sets, and relive their childhood experience, just like what we're going through right now. Now, the argument with that is, the print runs, similar to sport cards. I know someone that told me, oh, I have this basketball, it was like a special holiday edition. And he's like, I bought it for $100. Well, I looked it up. It was worth maybe $200. It was bought in the 90s. So there's always that kind of flip side. The question is picking the right set. And in my opinion, if I had to put money on a couple sets, it'd be anything that has a Charizard VMAX in it, or it's a tough one. The Moonbrion's definitely picking up speed. Um, I would even say Pokemon Go is definitely a sleeper set. Radiant Charizard. The Radiant cards aren't that easy to pull, but they're a little more frequent. But I do have sleeper pick on Pokemon Go. Um, I know I'm just kind of rambling on about this, but it's definitely the biggest question people ask is, modern, they printed to the moon. Yeah, but so was base set. Base set was printed to the moon as well. And those were definitely the OGs, but at the same time, there's the same argument of, hey, those kids that collected Pokemon cards as a kid that played the Sword and Shield games, that were collecting the cards, eventually they grow up, they'll find their way back to the hobby some shape or form. And at that time, if we do the math here, 25th anniversary, if you give it maybe another 20, 25 years, we'll see what'll happen. No one has a way of predicting the future, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, should you hold on to mountains of this stuff? Is it going to make you a millionaire? No, I don't think so. Will it make you money in the future? Probably, but I wouldn't sit on mountains of it to be safe. I wouldn't, put your life savings in, Sword and Shield sealed product. I don't recommend that. Um, I do definitely say when I did sell off all my master sets during the peak, the only one, I'm sorry, modern day master sets during the peak. The only one I regret selling was probably my Burning Shadows one. Why? I took more pride in that set. I had special promo cards for that set, but more importantly, my cards were mint. Burning Shadows had a poor print run. Now, Pokemon has proven to dig back in the past and reprint old sets. Don't say that, oh, they won't, because they're doing it. People are starting to find celebrations on the shelves. They said they were done. Maybe it's already for what they had left over. Who knows? Burning Shadows had a very poor print run. That Charizard in a 10 still goes for a premium for a modern day card. Way more than Hidden Fates Charizard. Hidden Fates Charizard definitely has more of a staple to modern, but the Burning Shadows Charizard is still highly sought after and it definitely does have more value. Other than that, I sold off my Cosmic Eclipse, Unbroken Bonds, um, Base Sword and Shield, Rebel Clash, Darkness Blaze, Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, Evolving Skies. I'm gonna sell my Pokemon Go eventually one day, but no rush to do that one. Um, I did not do Astral Radiance. I did not do Chilling Rain. Um, and then Celebrations, I kept my Master Set for Celebrations because that 25th logo I do find valuable. I kept my XY Evolution set just because a lot of the cards are very mint in there, no print lines, no nothing. I pull those cards myself. It was fun. It's what got me back into the hobby back then. I kept my Hidden Fates set as well because again, those cards I pulled myself, I could safely pull 5 or 6 of those cards. I know the grade 10s with ease. It was a fun set too. So yeah, you know what? Those sets were printed high to the moon and stuff like that. But you know what? I enjoyed it, and to me, it's more of a looking at the set put together and saying, oh, I had so much fun doing this set. Do I ever anticipate selling this set? Maybe one day. Do I expect to get buku dollars for it? No, but no rush to sell that off. But again, the only set I really regret selling was my Burning Shadows master set because just the cards in there were absolute mint and they had a really rough print run. So, but sometimes they say everything is for sale for the right dollar. I got for my Burning Shadows set, it was a little over $3,000 for it, and that was with a PSA 9 Charizard in there. So it was hard for me to do it, but I mean, how can you for a Master Set of Burning Shadows? I let it go. But still did good on it. But my birthday is coming up, and I do have some vintage packs I'm dying to crack open because that's what I want to focus more on is the vintage stuff and move away from modern. Modern was fun, definitely had its peak, excitement getting back into it, but there's still the place in my heart that makes you feel like a kid doing vintage stuff. So some of this modern stuff will be the last bit of it, and then just kind of go from there. And Scarlet and Violet is coming out. I'm kind of anxious to see what they will be having in there, but I'll probably be kind of more pulling the reins on it and focusing more towards vintage. But tell me what you guys think. I was thinking about maybe getting some more packs to crack my birthday, make things a little more exciting. So can't complain here. You gotta do this for the fun, the love for it. If you do it for financial gain, I mean, if you're in this in the long haul for financial gain, then you do this as a business. It's a different, complete mindset. But if you're, have a different career and you're trying to get in this to become a millionaire, you're doing the wrong thing for this. You got to do this more fun. But again, if you're doing this as a job, there's more of the I can buy this for this, grade this for this price, make this buck on it, boom, make an income. And then it's repetition, repetition, repetition. But none of those guys have the mindset, oh, if I buy this and hold this will make me a millionaire. It's a long journey ahead of making money, so you can't, for financial gain, you gotta. It's more about the journey and the process, not about the reward at the end. But anyways, like I said, it's always a fun hobby for me, and I'm excited to get cracking those packs open. And that's about it, guys. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and Florida strong. And don't forget, guys, I'm the Pole Father, and it only takes one. Take good care, guys. Have a great weekend. See you later.